Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series, Explorations in Savitri, with our beloved Alok. So today it will be earth shaking because we're in the Book of the Divine Mother, Book 3, Canto 4, The Vision and the Boon, page 341.
This canto actually begins to. There are several places where we see in Savitri a departure from traditional yoga, or rather, Sri Aurobindo going beyond traditional yoga. So, traditional yogas normally you realize the divine, the soul has completed its journey by realizing the divine, and it doesn't need to come back to earthly life. The logic, Vedantic evolution, logic is this, that the soul is evolving from life to life, and for that it needs, strangely, paradoxically, matter, contact with matter. And then a time comes when, growing through all the experiences, it eventually discovers who it is in reality. It is not this struggling creature, but this creature who is forever free. That Dvasuparna, the two birds of the Upanishad. Realizing it, it turns away from this field and it's free. Now, but there are many unanswered questions there. Why it plunged into it at all? What about countless those who are continuing to struggle in ignorance? The typical answer for that is that, well, they continue to struggle in ignorance. One day they too will wake up. So let us teach them also the path which will lead them towards freedom and awakening. This is the logic how it works.
But why come down if you're going to come up?
So there are many kinds of that, why you have been, if at all, condemned to a prison. And how helpless that the Creator cannot resolve the issues which are here. The only resolution is by coming out, stepping out of the boundary. Many questions are there, unanswered, even about the karmic law theory, because when we do something called a sin, it's done in ignorance. So, how far you can hold a person responsible for doing something in a state of ignorance when nature is driving and the person doesn't even know that he is being driven? You are not given the power to resist. So, there are many questions which Sri Aurobindo and the Queen, Dumatsena's wife, through them, he would raise in Savitri. So, some of them are here when he is at the highest seat. And he has been told that Divine Mother assures him that, well, there is a greater plan. So creation is not in vain. There is a greater plan, but its hour will come, transfiguring hour, after millenniums.
Be patient.
Be patient. So you wait. Also, the reason is given is that if prematurely that plan is precipitated, then there is every likelihood that creation will not be able to sustain that pressure and force. Because there is a question people ask that God is omnipotent, why doesn't he do things with a magic wand? And this was asked to Sri Aurobindo also. Like when somebody is ill, you pray, instantly you should be cured. There are studies like that, scientific journals, God in the machine, there are God in the CCU, actual studies like that. Why shouldn't it happen immediately? Well, Sri Aurobindo answers, if the highest force were to touch you, then your body won't sustain it. You won't die of disease. You will die of the 10,000 volt jhatka. So the force that acts upon you is much lesser. He has to veil it. And the moment it is anything less than the divine sheer omnipotence, which is the supramental, then it's a play of forces and possibilities. Then there is a part you have to play, you have to be receptive, open. All these conditions come. Whereas supramental is unconditional, except that you should be ready to, able to bear it. If you can't bear it, so that's how the logic proceeds. So she says there is time, it will be done. Wait, centuries, ages, she doesn't fix a term or time to it. Now Ashupati says, but for how long? How long will our spirits battle with the night? And now when he says battle with the night, means he's not talking of those souls which are in the night, enjoying the night. As he said, repair booths of sin about night, descent into night. Imagine, the divine removes the tendency to sin, then there are places where it is repaired. So the tendency returns. So like that, the world is full of those things. Not talking about that, but about heroic souls who have actually fought and battled against the night. Take the Mahabharata, Ramayana, the Trojan War, and many other things in history. Spartans and
Yes.
who have sacrificed themselves for a greater good. They have come and gone, and again the same old stupidity starts. So he's asking about them, standing in front of the Divine Mother, pleading their case. Now, this is another case in the court of time. One case we saw yesterday. This is the original case, the long pending case, the longest pending case in the history of creation. And what is this case? Now, Ashapati is pleading. How long shall our spirits battle with the night and bear defeat and the brute yoke of death? We who are vessels of a deathless force and builders of the Godhead of the race, or if it is thy work I do below, amid the error and waste of human life, in the vague light of man's half-conscious mind, why breaks not in some distant gleam of thee? That for long we have been working in the night of human ignorance. A few souls here and there, if you see the total population. Otherwise, like yesterday we were saying, India is a land of mystics. But if you see 125 million people, how many mystics? 125 maybe. Big number, but drowned and submerged. And all over the world, if you see. You can count on fingertips.
Yes.
But amidst all this night, why breaks not some distant gleam of thee? Why don't you come and awaken us all? So this is the whole.
Kittu Reddy told us the other day that in the school they had some 1,500 people. And
Yes.
and they wrote to Mother and they said, there are 3 who are very good, and there are 4 who are okay, and all the rest are worthless. They have no idea, they have no interest in the school. Mother said, 7 people.
Very
That's
good.
a wonderful amount for me. Mother was so pleased that there were 7 people.
Yes. So that's how it is. Ever these centuries and millenniums pass, where in the greyness is thy coming's ray? Centuries and millenniums. And see what happens to all these great realizations and light that people bring upon earth. Even if you grant that, okay, Muhammad was a yogi. He was a kind of yogi. But he reached some point and whatever the realization be. But look what happens down the ages. Whole thing turns into something very different. Christ, he is an avatar. See what happens in typical traditional Christianity. Sikh founders, we were talking about that. Such, virile and Kshatriyas, warriors who had turned toward the divine to defend the Hindus. Look what happens today, Khalistan movement, separatist things. Far away from what the original teaching is. And it reminds me incidentally of a story of Guru Nanak, So Guru Nanak once, a lot of people had gathered around him. So one of his close disciples said, I am so happy. So many people are your followers and disciples. He said, oh really? He said, yes. He said, okay, you will see it tomorrow. So Guru Nanak announces that I am going to take a long journey. Who will come with me? Everybody is ready. Whole town. Guru is going on journey, we will come with him. So they have all made, as is common in Indian families, food item, this item, that item. They have all planned, make my trip, where we will stop, everything. Guru goes and walks and walks. He is not stopping. Now people are getting tired. He said, so he says it is a journey, not a picnic. Half the people turn away. Oh, we thought it's, a great fun going with the Guru. Slowly comes to a mountain, starts climbing. Guru, please let us catch our breath. No, I am on the trail of something. He is becoming more and more fierce. His beard is going. That's how it is described in the story. And at the end, everybody opts out except this one disciple who had asked him the question. Then Guru Nanak turns back and looks at him and says, "Now you know how many followers and disciples I have."
Beautiful story.
This is the truth. So that's why he's saying, ever the centuries and millenniums pass,
Yes.
we end up forming a creedal religion. But the divine comes to always make us move forward. But it's a bad ending. In other words, he's saying it's a bad ending. Where in the greyness is thy coming's ray? Where is the thunder of thy victory's wings? The final victory. So that Ravana doesn't have to be burnt every year. He's gone for good. See, this is the whole. Only we hear the feet of passing gods. Oh, there was once upon a time a divine being who came here and did this and that. Can we see him? Well, he is gone. His exploits are there, stories. So look at the divine pathos in all this. Only we hear the feet of passing gods. Temples are consecrated in his name, and everything opposite is done than what the original God intended. Sri Aurobindo speaks of that about spiritual movements. And he says spirituality is nothing if it is not lived inside. A symbol is a meaningless ticket if you are not ready to reproduce it within your consciousness. Otherwise, you can flood the market, mother's symbol everywhere. But mother's symbol means mother is at the center, not the ego. That's how it starts. Center is the divine mother. In that symbol, there is no place for ego actually. So this is what he says. And then he says, that is not what he wants, because it means all kinds of people join, and when they cannot destroy the movement by opposing it, they join it to destroy it. It says that. By joining it, they dilute and destroy it. That's why another letter. I don't believe in propaganda. Except for books and patent medicine. Then he says, for a serious work like mine, it is a poison. It means hundreds and thousands of useless, means without aspiration. Oh, let's go, let's do a bonhomie. Mother will take care of everything. I can do anything I feel like. And that's how they join and they finish. And then he says, because of that, he says, this is what has happened in the religions and has been the cause of their failure. The truth has receded into the secrecy of its silence. So when he is saying these lines, there is a tremendous divine pathos. He doesn't want this again. That's why he said, I am not here to have the old wine in a new bottle or to repeat the old fiasco. I don't want to give my sanction to the old fiasco.
A new edition of the old fiasco.
A new edition of the old fiasco. We turn the page, and now he says that, he reveals to us that there is something in the eternal mind. But look, how it expresses and has challenges. He's not just looking at one lifespan or just even one yuga. A plan in the occult eternal mind, mapped out to backward and prophetic sight. The aeons ever repeat their changeless round. The cycles all rebuild and ever aspire. Mother says there have been pralayas 6 times.
Yes.
You see, sometimes it's very interesting in India. You have the, tourist spots are often based on certain pilgrimages, sites. Now, one can look at it in 2 ways. One is, it's a tourist thing. Most people go there as a tourist. Oh, we have gone there, we went to this mandir, we went to that place, and it's done. Or perhaps they have atoned for the sins so that new sins can be committed again. So this is... But there is another way to look at it, and I felt it this time when I went to Vrindavan after a long time for the seminar. I felt this is the place where once the all delightful Anandamay Krishna danced on Yamuna. And what have we done to it? I couldn't help but speak. And because the hosts were all from very proud that we are Brijvasis. I said, but what have you done to Krishna's land? So dirty. He is all beautiful. But you can't take care of the inheritance that you have received. I mean, it would apply to us in Pondicherry, in Auroville, everywhere. What have we inherited? What has the mother gifted us? Sometimes I really feel, do we really deserve this kind of tremendous divine inheritance that she has placed? Today, if we want to do yoga, sadhana, we don't have to worry about, earning money, this thing. You join an ashram, you're looked after reasonably well. And yet we just can't take care of what she has given us. Even materially, leave aside spiritually and other things. Just sheer materially. So this is what happens. So the cycles rise and they fall. If you just once think that Krishna danced there, what it must be. And today, all the hooligans and in the name of all the dhol baja, this is how it tends to become. These cycles all rebuild and ever aspire. All we have done is ever still to do. All breaks and all renews and is the same. Even one practicing one truth of these divine beings, masters. I mean, several times I have these discussions. Lord Rama. One thing which stands prominent in his character is that in his whole lineage, they are known by kings who have always kept their word. That's how the famous line came, Pran Jai, Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Ai, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai. It was their way of life. That we may lose our life, but we don't, our word is sacred. Once we have given a word, it is sacred. Where is that one person who can speak with that courage that I have given my word? That's the end of the story. I stand by, regardless of all kinds of pressures from all kinds of quarters. I have given the word and I stand by it. That nobility. But yes, worshipping Ram in a temple, that's the easy part of it. The real thing is to imbibe just one quality. All breaks and all renews and is the same. Huge revolutions of life's fruitless gyre. This like time loops through which creation is moving. It's a vision as if somebody is moving through galaxies. That's how, when Sri Aurobindo wrote The Life Divine, I think it was New York Times or one of those magazines which said, it seems on reading this, it was in the Arya actually, that as if somebody is moving through galaxies and watching the events. Huge revolutions. As if those revolutions occurred and somebody is watching from a distant space.
And he calls it a fruitless gyre.
Fruitless gyre. The newborn ages perish like the old, as if the sad enigma kept its right, till all is done for which this scene was made. Divine perfectionist. Cut. Another scene. Victory. No, cut. I am not satisfied. Again and again and again. There is something which is still left undone. That is what Sri Aurobindo is pointing out. That all this is very nice, beautiful spirituality and all these things, beautiful things. But till that is done, enigma. What is the enigma? Creation is an enigma. Man is an enigma. Man's soul entering into imperfect nature, holding a dream of perfection. What a paradox it is. That is an enigma. And identified with matter, God is an enigma. Who is our only real reality? So till the enigma, the entire enigma is resolved. Too little the strength that now with us is born. This is the reality. We may blame somebody for his karmas, but where is the strength? Most human beings don't have the strength to resist. So there is no strength even to walk the path. Even when you know that this is how one should walk. Anyone who has tried, even that's why Mother says, somebody who has worked upon himself develops a sunny tolerance and generosity towards others, co-travelers and fellow sadhaks, because he knows how difficult it is to work on one difficulty within yourself. How it repeats and repeats and repeats. But those who have not worked upon themselves, they are quick to condemn. Self-righteous. Look at this person, look at that person. So here he's saying that too little the strength, too faint the light that steals through nature's lids, too scant the joy with which she buys our pain. They are marvelous lines actually.
Yes.
Too little the strength that now with us is born. Too faint the light that steals through nature's lids. Too scant the joy with which she buys our pain. She says, okay, I'll take away your pain. After much pain you give me, I'll give you a little joy. So nature, okay, I'll give you some respite with which she buys our joy. Then nature's lids, ignorance, nature is sleeping, closed. But time to time a little faint light. So we feel even in our outer consciousness some touch of the Godhead. So look at these wonderful lines. In a brute world that knows not its own sense, thought-racked upon the wheel of birth we live, who else can plead our case better? He is not saying this human being, yes, he should be condemned. He is saying thought-racked, harassed and troubled by thought. And what kind of life? Upon the wheel of birth we live, constantly moving. The instruments of an impulse not our own. We are pushed and driven by forces which are beyond our control. We don't even understand. We understand much later. That's why somebody has said nature has a strange way of teaching. It gives you the result first, experience first, lesson afterwards. Sometimes much later. And every one of us, there is a passage where Mother says, all of us, when we look back, we will always feel maybe we could have been better, maybe we could have done better. And this maybe continues. If anybody looks back 20 years, even sometimes 5 years, depending on how you're progressing, maybe I could have, but that time you could not. Then later on, but life is moving forward. So, the instruments of an impulse not our own, moved to achieve with our heart's blood for prize, half knowledge, half creations that soon tire. That's the ultimate of man's achievement. A foiled, immortal soul in perishing limbs. Look at it. There is a soul within. Foiled, covered, wrapped in perishing limbs. So deeply, you can't even see. You have to take it like with faith, yes, there is a soul. So, okay, soul is so wonderful, but it should be self-evident. That's how it should be, logically. Baffled and beaten back, we labor still. But there is something about man. It's because of this soul that we refuse to give up. We don't understand that it's because of this light, the faith, that we continue to labor. Annulled, frustrated, spent, we still survive. If not here, in another world, in another life, the impulse comes back and we still survive.
I'll read.
Yes.
In anguish we labor, that from us may rise a larger seeing man with nobler heart, a golden vessel of the incarnate truth, the executor of the divine attempt, equipped to wear the earthly body of God, communicant and prophet and lover and king. I know that thy creation cannot fail, for even through the mists of mortal thought, infallible are thy mysterious steps, and though necessity dons the garb of chance, hidden in the blind shifts of fate, she keeps the slow, calm logic of infinity's pace and the inviolate sequence of its will.
So beautiful. So he is now taking us towards a grand close. So he's saying all this futile, seeming futile revolutions, ages, aeons, pralayas. Why all this? Because so that through all this churning of matter, that which is hidden inside man, the greater being, he may rise. You see, it's very interesting if you observe through the jungle creation, which is the most restless creature, which is all the time jumping, running, can't sit still. No, it is the monkey. Look at a monkey in a zoo. Look at him anywhere. Barely a monkey will sit quietly at. Lion will sit in leonine calm, strength. Even a snake with the hood or passively lethargy. But a monkey is always restless. Now, once I was watching this monkey, restless monkey, and I thought, this is where he is searching for man. The monkey's restlessness is because of a strange something which has begun to develop in him. You throw something near a monkey, he will definitely jump, pick it up, try to see what it is. It is his that curiosity which marks a human nature. You find in monkey. You throw an empty bottle. Arey, that reminds me, they have become so smart in this same Braj Bhumi where I went. It is famous, the monkeys are so naughty, not naughty, they are all intelligent fellows. They will, if you are wearing a glasses, it will definitely go. So, the person who was taking me, my dear friend, he told me, monkeys and they will take away your glasses. So, make sure that you don't keep the glasses, mobiles in the pocket, don't take out and talk. And he gave an example of his own, daughters. Sometime this had happened. So we went through Yamuna and we saw all the monkeys around. When we came back, instinctively he took out his glasses, power glasses, very good expensive glasses, and put it. Within seconds it was gone. Before he could realize, he suddenly felt the monkey and he said, oh, and the monkey had taken the glass. Now, why do they take it? This is strategy behind it. Strategy is you give him something, then he will give the glass. So they like those fruity and all that. So you see, it's a whole nexus. They learned what politicians are doing. The mafia and the political and the industrialist nexus starts from there. Okay, so you have somebody who will bring immediately fruity. Sir, ye de do. Give it, then the monkey will throw the glasses. Now, sure enough, as many fruity you come and take. But they also have a whole mafia. So all the monkeys came, they suddenly realized that there is too many fruity over one glass. And unfortunately, he had crossed over a nalla. So he dropped that's what they do. They will drop the glass and jump to, and then you pick up the glass. But when he dropped, pop, it went inside the nalla. Then the third fellow comes, mafia don. So he says, I will dish it out of the nalla. He tried, it didn't succeed to give some money and, he goes away. But look at, that a monkey, how his mind is so restless. It is of no use to him. No other creature will do this. No other animal will do this kind of a thing. But monkey, immediately. He's got, if you are using a mobile, gone. So, if you look at it closely, this thing of curiosity, here it is being misused by, vested interests of people. But this spirit of curiosity, in its most primitive elementary stages, the beginnings of a mind which will one day, this curiosity will take him beyond Mars and Venus and the interstellar travels. If you look at it, so wonderful. But you see the beginnings. So too in man, there is another kind of restlessness. It's not outer, but inside. And if you are feeling stifled, if you are feeling deep within you in unease and unhappiness with life as it is, even when everything is wonderful, then blessed art thou, or thou art chosen for the next step.
I do have a story about the elephants. They're not restless, but they're extremely intelligent.
Oh, yes.
In Burma, they will walk across the highway and stop all cars that are coming. If you give them one or two bananas, they won't move. You have to give a couple of hands of bananas. And then they'll go back, let you pass, and move in for the next car.
So you see, yes. So this is how we see in the beginning stirring of intelligence in animal life. But this stirring of intelligence is basically the effort, the pang to give birth to a creature who will embody this intelligence as his natural operating system. In them, it is not a default operating system. It is like nature is developing it. So in man, human beings, though there are those who are happy with their life as it is. Mother says, don't disturb them. They are not ready for yoga. They are happy with their selfie world. All right. Let it continue. But there are those who, not because there is a problem outside, but they are not happy. Something is going on inside. They want something else, but they don't quite know what it is. They are the ones who are ready for this leap. And that's what is described here. Baffled and beaten back, we labor still. Annulled, frustrated, spent, we still survive. In anguish we labor, that from us may rise a larger seeing man with nobler heart. A golden vessel of the incarnate truth, the executor of the divine attempt, equipped to wear the earthly body of God. Right now it's an animal body. But this new being should be able to wear the earthly body of God. Communicant, now he is describing the characteristic. And this is very interesting. One line he is summarizing many things. This is the whole world contained. So what is this new being like? At one place, Sri Aurobindo says, the saint, the sage and the seer, they were the peaks of the old world. It's not the new world. So that's why we still figure the sannyasi, the man in this robe, suddenly he will do out of the way some kind of miracle or give you lectures on Vedanta. It is not that. What is this new being, new species? How do you recognize? It will come later on also in the same canto. Communicant and prophet, ability to see far ahead. The ability to communicate truths which are ineffable. Not because of a scholarly wisdom, but because the faculties of inspiration, intuition and revelation will become operative. And lover, he would love all creation, man and beast and bird and stone and plant and everything, and king. He will have the regality, the power. This is a beautiful description of Superman when he describes, and he speaks of the triumvirate of wisdom, strength and love. Even in Perseus the Deliverer. Hallmark of manhood. Wisdom, strength and love. These three things must be there. All three together. So here he is using the word prophet and communicant. Wisdom. And lover. Love. And king. The power, the strength, the royalty of nature. But this royalty is not like the power of the ostentatious, titanic type. But it's a natural power that, the mastery that they command, the Swarat, which leads to Samrat. So this is where he describes the characteristic that man is laboring for this. And then he says, he reveals to us and says, the Divine Mother, I know, I have no doubts. So it should be clear that he is not revolting against the thing. See, there can be two approaches when we see imperfection. One is revolt. What kind of God you are? You are cruel, you have done nothing. I don't care about you. But he is not revolting. He is saying, this is the fact. I know that there is something more to come. I also know that you have a plan in your heart. All that I am asking, he will say at the end is, let it be here and now rather than after millenniums. That's all the whole beauty is. I know that thy creation cannot fail. For even through the mists of mortal thought, infallible are thy mysterious steps. And though necessity dons the garb of chance, Hidden in the blind shifts of fate she keeps. The slow, calm logic of infinity space and the inviolate sequence of its will. Again, the wide seeing. Saying, I know your creation cannot fail. He is almost saying, I know the tricks. You have infinity's logic. Finite's logic is, oh, finite logic is limited to time and space. For instance, there are people who say, oh, I am already old. I have not, what is the point of trying yoga? Nothing can happen to me. This finite's logic, because his beginning point is his bodily birth, end point is the bodily death. Infinity's logic is, this life is a preparation. Next life it will happen like this. That is infinity's logic. The slow, calm pace says, even through all this, one can see the glimpse of how you work, the mysterious steps.
March goes on.
March goes on. Why Kansa is necessary? Krishna could have just come and danced. But if Kansa was not there and Krishna would have danced, people would have declared him a mad person. But because Kansa came, they were so tormented that when they found one person who can live with freedom and delight fearlessly, they said, oh, here is God. Though his ways are crazy, we don't understand. But I guess he's the best bet, let's follow him. And when he succeeded slaying Kansa, they said, I guess we are right. So when he said, stop worshipping all these Indra and all that, worship Govardhan. The divine is within you. You don't have to do all this. So they listened to him. And through all this, they were ready. Otherwise, Kansa would have gone, another tyrant would have seated in place of Kansa. So there is a logic that why everything happens in a certain way. But we don't understand because we have finite life. So we are always thinking in terms of my life. What will I gain? The silliest, most impractical, most foolish question one ever asks is, what will I gain from this? The day you drop asking this question, you gain a lot more. That is a paradox. The I that asks is very small. So what it gains is also very little. So, the logic of one lifetime. We'll just read 2 more lines and then probably stop. 3 lines more. All life is fixed in an ascending scale. Interesting. Ascending scale. So we are not going to become a monkey again or girgit and lizard. You are not going to. It's an ascending scale. You are being pushed up the ladder.
And it's fixed.
Fixed. It's all decided. So we are playing a prefixed match where victory is with the soul, where yatha partho dhanurdhara yatra yogeshwara Krishna. It is already decided. So we are being pushed up the ladder. And adamantine is the evolving law. It is not going to leave you. So people who want to escape effort, sometimes people say, oh, it's better to die. So we have to remind them. So what happens when you come back? Nature will push you through much greater difficulty. That's for people who try to escape and commit suicide and try to run away from challenges. Nature will push you. You'll have to face it. Nature doesn't care because nature doesn't see you as a mortal being who will die, oh poor fellow. No. Nature sees you through long passages of time. This soul decided to run away. Okay, I am going to increase the level of difficulty. Now you face the challenge.
Adamantine.
Adamantine.
Like stone.
It is not going to give way because you cry and say, oh, this is too much. Ye kya kiya re duniya wale. He is not going to, It will say, yehi theek hai. Yehi hai. You have to face the challenge. There is no escape. And the last line, in the beginning is prepared the close. So already, in a certain sense, in the highest sense, because Ashwapati is standing at the highest gates. So he knows that already the Divine Mother has fixed a plan for creation for each one of us. So for each one of us, there is a truth of our future which she holds. It's secure in her. We have to just discover and align ourselves to it. That's all that is required. When we deviate, she will make sure we get back. sometimes through one lady who was here 2 years in ashram, I think, after studying. So then she decided to get married and go. So she was in the queue. She told mother that, I have decided to go. Mother said, okay, wait. So she waited for some time. After the whole queue is over, then she calls her, picks up a rose, pulls the lady's hand, palm. Then putting the rose, she says, you will go round and round and round and round the world and then come back here. She says with such a force. And this lady who recounted this to me, she says, actually, I went here, there, everywhere. And all the time I was saying, why did I come back? Come away. Finally, when she came, it was like a dream come true. But she was already here. But destiny. You'll go round and round and round, you'll come back here. So that's how it is. Destiny operates like that. Adamantine is the law. In the beginning is prepared the close. Okay, so we meet tomorrow.